Hello, and welcome back to Sim Airport, where we pretend to be an airport manager. Right, so I am going to drop the price of fuel right now because I feel like that could actually help us. So let's go into operations, fuel services. Let's bring it down from 10% to 7%. That might actually increase. Yeah, fuel satisfaction is 40%. Good. So we've satisfied their fuel needs. 40% is a huge gain, huh? It's not small in any sense of the word. So that is good. Alright, so we are just going to let the numbers run for a little bit. 900,000. So that's good. We're going to let the numbers run. This is going to be the last episode. I'm not going to build anything in this episode. I'm sorry to disappoint any of you guys if you think that I should build in this episode. We're just going to let things run once we cross the 50 million mark and possibly a little bit more. Let's just wait and see. We are going to open a new airport because this is all connected. There is one gate which is completely empty, which is this gate. We could try to fill it up with a bunch of flights. I guess that could be an idea because this is completely empty. So we can go into Excel flights. We can get 2 EAMs. Let's get this. Where's the EAM? That's not showing up. See, now this has 2 EAMs. We need 2 for this, so let's get the big ones. And 1 afternoon is fine. Sure, save. So let's get you here. Let's get you here, which means I can actually start this from here, I guess. So we can actually get a bunch of flights here. We can get a lot more flights than I think we can handle. Let's just spam the flights. We're anyway going to sell this airport. So we can get 3 flights here. We can possibly fit 1 more of this and 1 more of this. So let's just try to fit in as many flights as we can. Cram it all in. That's what she said. We might have a lot of issues. I'm not joking, I'm serious. We might have a hell of a lot of issues just with evacuating our passengers off of security here. So I mean, it's this day has to complete running and then the next day has to run. That's when those issues will come up. Possibly drop a lot of flights. I don't know. Let us see. But we are not at 100% utilization of all of our gates. That's something, but we are close to it. Not close to 100%, I would say, but still, we're pretty much at a point where with our existing architecture, we have to make some drastic changes to make things more efficient. Which I'm not going to do right now. Because let's just have a quick look-see at how things look. So this is our airport, right? This is not a lesson on how we built it up, which of course we will do a little bit later on, probably from the 15-minute mark of this video. But yeah, what we can see is our options for expansion is down this way. We can get some large runways, some large gates, whatever over here, even some XL gates, but that would mean that we should extend this runway and probably get another runway in here, so that we can accommodate the volume that we have. And there's enough room here for a lot of gates, which means we will have to have more runways here as well. So we could have like 4 or 5 runways, but that will require us to open a lot of this space, which is just too much work for us to do. Like, it's not too much work in the sense I don't want to do it, it's too much work, oh no, I'm so bored, but it's just too much work in the sense of it'll take too much time for us to see any sort of meaningful increment. So plus our basement is a mess. This is a mess. Next time we do something, we have to plan this out, but on that later. So one thing we can do is not expand this way into large gates and just expand this way into smaller gates. That's something we can do. So maximum we can get is up to here, which means we can have 2 runways that accommodate all of these, and that should just be fine. So that is one way of expansion. We can expand the capacity of our customers this way and the security this way, which would be good enough. The other thing we can do over here is actually I think we are pretty maxed out. We can expand over here, but I'm not a big fan of that. It could be good for us. Like there's no saying that it won't, because we have the first floor free, so we can accommodate a lot of passengers here. So this will be our immediate, if somebody takes this airport and they want to expand it, this would be the immediate road to expansion. By the way, I don't know how to send the save file to anybody. If anybody is interested, I can send the save file over. Anyway, coming back to the point here. If we expand the gates over here, this security, once it gets full, is not going to be sufficient. So we need to come up with some other solution. We can't go down because we have this, which means we have to go down 2 levels and then build something over here, which is possible. It's not impossible. I'm not ruling it out, but that is one direction in which we could go. The other thing is expanding over here with more runways. That is also something we can do. Runway clashes, I don't know if that has been an issue for us so far. So I am not sure if that is something which is going to solve anything. So those are all the different ways by which I can think of expanding this without doing any major structural changes. Now, certain things are restricting us. One is a baggage claim area. I could probably finagle a couple of more belts over here, but that is not enough. This place is super crowded right now. The second is this baggage area is pitiful. This is horrible to look at. This is like one of those local airports in like India or something. I'm not saying those airports are bad. They are just made for lower capacity, which means when you're thinking of growing that airport, you will have to redesign everything. You will have to redesign not just your terminal, you will have to redesign everything. The flow, the passenger flow, how people come in, how people go out, everything has to be redesigned. So that is one of the issues we are facing here. There's just one belt here. There's not enough space for us to expand. So we will have to eat up into our terminal space, which might not be such a bad idea, because we could get the upgrade for these people to go to the first floor, move all the gates to the first floor, and then make the ground floor completely baggage. That's an option we can do. There's lots of options. We can still work around it. But I just don't think that this was the best design for us to go with, given the space constraints that we had. It was pretty good that we did it, but right now we're chugging at 30 FPS, so I don't think I want to do anything over here, increase the flow and whatnot. My god, this is moving really fast. 1 queue is way better than 2 queues. I don't know why. You have 4 people here, right? And you have 4 people here, so it's the same 4 people, but then this seems to move faster than that. Oh, maybe that was just a lower capacity flight. I don't know. That could be a possibility. So maybe that moves faster. Maybe we'll have to check. Right. So having said that, having said my piece, I think we will jump a little early into a history lesson on how things came about. So initially when we started off on the ground floor. We had security here, we had check-in here. Those were the days. That was amazing. But yeah, and then we had the gates here. So the airport was pretty compact. It was only so much. And then we expanded further down here, and we had this taxiway coming in because we had a runway over here. And then we decided that we needed more space, we needed bigger gates, so we eventually moved in here by getting these underground walkways, which is not the most efficient way to do things. Given a chance, I would go back and not do this. I would try to have like a solid airport instead of an airport with underground walkways. I don't think this is a good idea, but we had to do it, so we did it. I don't know if it is my subconscious or not, but I just feel like people have to travel a longer distance, which when we are looking at it from this view is kind of hidden. So we don't actually realize how much farther they have to travel, and that could be one of the reasons why a lot of people are missing their flights. We haven't, if you guys had noticed, we haven't gotten the bonus for perfect operations in quite a while. Yeah, so that makes things tricky, right? So then once we did all of that, I mean, I'm talking out of turn here. Like, some things might have happened before, some things might have happened later, but eventually we got the parking here, and we got this office building done. This office building in retrospect was pretty small. We started off really small. I think a layout like this is something which is much better because we have a substantial amount of offices here, and we have two conference rooms per floor, which is actually pretty nice. So if we keep going with this, we can basically have a huge, this is a big enough reception area. I don't think this is a small reception area by any means. So this is a big enough reception area. We can have two of these conference rooms and restrooms and like a proper stairway going up. And of course we can have a bunch of offices around here. We don't need to pack the offices as tightly as we did over here. But when you think about it, this is more like the corporate headquarters. So all the big people come in here and then they sit here. The CFO, the finance VP, the COO, the foreman, and a bunch of sales people who are very special. The CTO and all of them sit here, and they have like an entire floor for the conference room with beautiful trees and whatnot. And yeah, all of that is there, but this is a much better way of designing the office, I feel. So that is something we learned here, which we are going to use later on. We seem to be handling the volume of people through our funnel pretty good. The security is not getting overwhelmed. Customer support is not, I mean, the ticketing officers are not getting overwhelmed. Nothing is getting, this is brilliant. Like, I am really happy about these two layouts which we came upon. This is more like a fishbone layout which we have, which, I mean, it just happened by accident, but this is really cool because what happens is we reduce the amount of distance traveled by people by separating them into two lines, up and down. Since we can't have diagonals in this game, this is like the best way for us to separate the flow. Ooh, things are filling up, that's cool. That is good. We're going to sell the airport pretty soon, so I'm not very worried about people filling up the queues. I mean, what's done's done. I'm not going to go back and try and make things better, but yeah, this is definitely much better. If we had any other arrangement, like a straight line arrangement or whatever, it might not have been the best. I think this is pretty good. I think getting the walkways here is a pretty good decision as well, because it reduces the distance walked by these people so they can get to where they want to go really fast. I mean, even in the real world, I understand that walkways have restrictions, which is you need to go here to enter, which means they still have to walk this distance. You can't just enter the walkway in the middle. If we come up with a technology like that, that would be awesome, but That's not how it is. So we do have 2 walkways here, and then we went ahead and we expanded some of these things. Another thing I learned is that having smaller stores, which are specialty stores, is completely unnecessary and completely useless, which we are not going to do the next time we do things. We are going to have stores like this, one store which has a lot of stuff, because the point here is that we get the passengers access to whatever it is that they want. So now I actually understand why duty-free stores in airports kind of have everything that they want. Like, there's everything in one place. It just makes more sense instead of having specialty shops. Having said that, most of the stores that I walk by, at least near the gates, are luxury stores. Not near the gates, just before the gates. Like, as soon as you clear immigration and then you go, I don't know, each airport's layout is different. But anyway, here in Bangkok, you have like so many of these luxury stores. They don't have a lot of foot traffic going through them, so I guess they're just there as a thing. So it's like somebody's made a really big deal and then he's got a lot of extra cash and he wants to buy something for his wife or girlfriend. Look at that garbage. Good job, janitor. So they could go and pick something up, but yeah, so that is one thing which we learned, which is about the store. The other thing we learned is that people have different preferences for food. So we need to have as many food options as possible. It makes sense for us to make food courts near gates. So this kind of system is actually very good. We can have like a central area. All of these boarding gates are in the first floor, which means we can have the first floor with seating and all the boarding gates, and then on the ground floor we can have all of our amenities, including the restrooms. So I am going to look at something like this instead of something like this, which is mixed zone, with like smaller shops and with gates and huge arcade. This arcade is unnecessarily huge for this particular area. But yeah, these are things that we learned. Next, we don't want empty space, waste space over here. We do not want it. That is just useless. So I guess that is another major takeaway. Nothing going underground. Consolidate the shops, no wasted space, and build something like this where on all sides you have gates, and in the middle you have amenities in the ground floor, and in the first floor you have your seating. So that is pretty much what we learned on this level of the airport, which is good. I'm happy that we don't have any drop flights. I don't know if it's because of the reserve gates or if it's because of what, but that's just much better. Coming down here, this is a huge foo bar. It's a very big cluster, the F word, because we didn't plan this out at all. Whenever we needed some sort of a connection, we just dropped a baggage hub and we just connected things to it, which means if you think about it, every single baggage hub that we have right here is connected in series. So let's for example take this. So from here, this is somewhat in the center of the series, so it actually works much better than it's supposed to work in this case, because from this center it can go here to this with 2 hops. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 hops. This is at this extremity, so here it can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hops. So the maximum distance it has to travel is 5 hops. Now the challenge comes into the picture. I don't know if this is how transit luggage is actually moved, but if that is how transit luggage is moved, if a flight lands here and the passenger has to transit from here, 2 things happen. First, the flight has to the baggage car, let's say here or wherever, let's say here. So the baggage car has to take the bags to here, and then from here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then has to take it to the flight. That is an insane amount of jumps. To circumvent that, what we should actually do is we should be able to connect these baggage hubs across to these. Like there's an empty space here, there's an empty space here. If we just connect both of these together, it'll just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just 5. We're saving 2 entire jumps. I don't know if this actually affects the game as much, but logically speaking, I think that is something we should look at. We should look at how we can build a much more interconnected distributed network instead of having a series line like what we have right now, which is extremely horrible. And I'm not even discussing the issue of the hub on the first floor. Hub on the first floor is not a bad idea. This hub is actually amazing. This hub is helping churn out to this and this. We're able to deal with 2, and it's connecting downwards to another one over here. So this hub is essentially handling 1, 2, 3 of these. So half of this building is being serviced by this hub, while the other half is being serviced by this hub, I guess. No, actually 2 are being serviced by this, 1 is being serviced by this, but half of this is being serviced by this, which means this hub is very important. So a first floor hub is not such a bad idea, but what is a bad idea is having everything in series. That is a horrible idea, which we should not do. So that is one thing which I'm going to try and keep in mind while I'm doing them. But as this game progresses, it's extremely difficult to keep things in mind. That is one of the things that happens. It's like you can make any amount of plans, but then when you see the population, when you see the people moving in a certain way, when you see the flow going in a certain way, it's difficult for you to go back and then, go with your plan. You can't get into this with a solid plan. That's not going to happen. That's not how it's going to work. Oopsie. See, now we have a huge plane here which has how many people? 476 people have to board, and there was a little bit of pressure here, so maybe these queues aren't the best, but they're much better, I feel. Maybe we should try something with like 5 of these ticketing desks. I don't know. We will have to see. Right, so now let's quickly jump in and see. Whoa! What the hell just happened? We were supposed to be at 50 million. We are at 84 freaking million. How the hell did that happen? 5 million or what the? $1.7 million? Are you serious now? 1.7 million? My goodness, 1.15. This is amazing. Our airport is extremely profitable. Right, having said that, I'm gonna end this series right now. I'm gonna come back pretty soon with a new series where we open a new airport and then see how things flow. I am going to save this game as is right now. I don't know how to send the save file to any of you, but if any of you are interested, please let me know. There is a Discord which I seldom use and I'm very horrible at it. I don't know, I kind of feel like I'm this really old person who's out of touch with technology, which is funny because my job is technology. See, that's what I do, but then some of these new apps, I don't know how to operate them. But anyway, if any of you are interested, please do let me know and I can send the save file over to you and you can play around with this map some more if your computer can handle whatever this throws at you. But it's an amazing game and we're coming back to it and we're going to check it out. So do like and subscribe if you like the content I'm putting outside. Do comment if you think anything is comment worthy, and I'll be back with the next iteration of Sim Airport. Until then, take care now. Bye bye then.